Hey, what's going on, guys? Pixel Dan here. It's time to look at my stuff. Yeah, it's another haul video. It's been a while since I've done one of these, but I just wrapped up a weekend at JoeCon, the G.I. Joe convention, which was right here in Springfield. It was awesome. Had a little convention right here in town. It's just not something that really happens around here, and it's weird. It is weird for a smaller city like Springfield to get a convention like that. So, I guess part of me does understand some of the folks that had to travel in wondering why this place got the Joe convention. And obviously, for G.I. Joe fans, Springfield has a connection to G.I. Joe, just the city Springfield, the whole Cobra connection there. So that's why it was chosen. So I personally thought it was pretty awesome being able to literally drive down the street to go to a convention and at the end of the day come back to my house and sleep in my own bed. That's something I have never experienced before. I do these conventions all year long, and it's always a thing where I have to travel and stay in a hotel. So this was quite a different experience for me, and not something I'll probably get to experience again, because I don't think that this is going to be a regular thing at Springfield, but it was very cool. And I'm glad I went. This was my very first JoeCon. Never been to a JoeCon before. And it was really fun. It was very, very cool. I don't know if any of you ever have been to JoeCon, but for those of you who have gone, I'm sure you know that one of the things that makes these conventions so cool, these kind of like brand specific cons, or like these conventions that are dedicated to kind of one specific thing, the thing that makes them so cool is that they are a bit smaller and more tight knit, I guess is a good word to describe it, as far as the folks that come to these conventions. It feels a little more personal, it's a little more intimate, and I really like that. The big conventions are cool for what they are. Everybody, when you think of a convention or a Comic-Con, your first thought is always San Diego Comic-Con, and that is just pure insanity because it's so big and it's just insane and there's so much to see. But these smaller little dedicated conventions are actually some of my favorites because not only is it easier to get around and see things and do things, but everybody is there for the same reason as you. You're all there to celebrate the same thing together, and it definitely has much more of a family feel. Now, I definitely was out of my element a little bit at this show. I like G.I. Joe, and I've done some G.I. Joe reviews in the past on certain figures that I really like and that I buy, but I have never been a die-hard G.I. Joe collector. It was one of those things that I had just a smaller collection of as a kid. I liked them, I've always appreciated them, but it was never one of my main focuses. So walking into a place like this, I did feel a bit like an outsider because these guys are as diehard about G.I. Joe as I am for something like Masters of the Universe or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But at the same time, it was really cool for me to witness this and see that regardless of the fact that this isn't a property that I have all that knowledge about, they are just as excited and they treat this the same way that, for example, my fellow Masters fans treat a Masters convention, a Power Con or something like that. It was really cool just seeing how, we're all big geeks together, regardless of what it is that we love. It was just really cool kind of seeing that it felt the same, even though it was different. I guess that's the best way to explain it. I think the thing that really brought that to my attention was sitting in the Hasbro panel. And when Hasbro was throwing up the reveals on the screen for all the Joe products coming out this year, they would throw a figure up on the screen and the entire room would erupt in applause and they'd be happy. And I'm sitting there and I'm filming it, and I thought it was really cool and I was really taking it all in, but I obviously don't have that same excitement as they do. But I can relate that to sitting at a Maddie panel where they're revealing the new Masters of the Universe Classics figures, and I'm getting excited for those. So it was really neat, honestly, just from my perspective, to witness that sort of excitement from a group that I'm sort of you know, I'm on the outside of all that. I don't know. I just found that really, really fun. So it's pretty cool. It was a great experience. I will say too, I also ran into several people at the show. A lot of people came up to me and told me they were viewers and that they enjoyed the videos, or that their kids enjoyed the videos and stuff like that. And that's not something I knew was going to happen at a G.I. Joe convention. So that always makes me feel very happy and proud of what I'm doing here. So I definitely want to send a shout out and a thank you to every single person that just stopped me and chatted with me, or took photos with me, or asked me to record videos and all that fun stuff. Thank you guys very much. I mean, that sort of thing right there is just one of those really fun and unique experiences at a convention, and I really do love that. That just makes me, like I said, it makes me feel proud for doing this sort of thing, you know. So ran into a lot of cool people though, met a lot of cool people, got to see other people again that I don't see very often. So all of that stuff was awesome. And it was a really great experience. So JoeCon, very fun little show. It was nice, and it wasn't too big, but it wasn't too small. There was some really good programming there. The panels were fun. The show floor was great. It was neat seeing Hasbro there at such a small show, showing off their new product. And there were a lot of really good vendors there. There really was. There was a lot of cool stuff to buy, even though this was, like I said, this was a G.I. Joe centric convention, and I'm not a huge G.I. Joe collector, but there was absolutely things there that I wanted to buy. So let's go ahead and get into that now, because that's why you guys are really watching this video, right? You want to see the cool things that I picked up. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start with actually one of my favorite little finds or pickups. And this is actually probably what I would consider my best, like, JoeCon souvenir, I guess is what I want to call it. One of my favorite panels at the show was a panel all about Action Force. And if you are not familiar with Action Force, basically what that brand is it's sort of the UK equivalent of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. Because when G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero was launched here in the US, instead of just transitioning these real American heroes to the UK to sell, they instead have their own line called Action Force, which had some original sculpts and original figures, but also just kind of reused some of the Real American Hero G.I. Joe stuff. It's fascinating. It's really, really fascinating line, and they created some really amazing things for this toy line. And of course, all these years later, they've now kind of brought in a lot of that stuff and made it part of the G.I. Joe universe, which is really cool. So I love that panel. It was very well done. Really got me excited, and I'm always interested to learn about these types of toy lines and get pieces from them. So there was a vendor there specifically that had a huge tub of Action Force figures, and they had vehicles and everything. So I went to this tub, and right alongside my buddies Dave and Duvall from Toy World Order, they were really into it too, and we were all kind of digging through there, and Dave specifically was helping me dig through to find some of these guys. And I picked up some of the Action Force figures. So this is what I got. I love these guys. Look at these little guys. So I got this guy here first. Get the camera good focused on it for you guys here. Hopefully they can't. Come on, camera. So little guys, they're the same scale, you know, but they don't all have G.I. Joe articulation. A lot of these original ones here, you can say they just have, like, you know, the basic. This guy's only got 4 points of articulation. Just the legs move forwards and backwards, the arms move forwards and backwards. But such a cool, unique look for this character. Really, really love this. But the cool guys, the ones that everybody loves, are the villains from Action Force, the Red Shadows. So I picked up, this is one of the Red Shadows, one of the troopers. They're pretty sought after, I think, from this line. But the vendor there had a whole tub of these little dudes, and they are awesome. I mean, look at this guy. How cool is this little figure, right? Love him. And they also had, on the villains teams, just some really crazy little villains. This guy here, I believe his name is the Kraken, and I knew right away that I wanted to get this guy. Look at this dude. He doesn't hold his little gun very well. I'm going to take it out of his hand, but look at this guy. How amazing is this character, right? What a cool looking figure. And I will say this too. in the panel when they were talking about like the Red Shadows and talking about these really funky villains, they kind of talked about them in a tone where they thought they were silly and were kind of laughing at them because they're so different and far-fetched. But I gotta tell you, these right here are the figures that draw me to the Action Force line. This guy especially, like they didn't seem to think he was a very cool figure. I think he's amazing. Look at this guy. He's another one of the villain characters there. Really, really cool character. He's got like this little visor, like you can take the stuff off his head. It just kind of plugs in, so there you can see what his eye looks like there. He's like some sort of a robot character, but he is just, oh man, I love the weird stuff like this. I mean, you guys know me. This is the sort of thing that I really love. I really eat this stuff up. So those 4 Action Force figures I picked up, and they are probably like, I definitely consider those like my favorite like JoeCon souvenir. I think those were a perfect thing to pick up from a place like JoeCon. Didn't have any Action Force figures before. Boom, now I've got some for my collection. I picked up a few other Joe related stuff, of course, but before I get into all that, it was cool because it wasn't all Joe stuff on the show floor. Most of it was, but walking around, I saw plenty of other things too. I mean, there was quite a few Masters of the Universe Classics figures for sale. Somebody was selling a Classics Castle Grayskull, so that was pretty sweet to see. I saw lots of the Funko reaction stuff, lots of cool stuff. But there was one booth in the back that had a bunch of tubs of random toys in it that were really cheap. So I started digging through these bins. I actually dug through these with Jason, which was really fun. Found a whole assortment of crazy stuff. So let me show you what I got. One of the things I pulled out of that booth, got myself a Double Dragon Jimmy Lee. He's loose. I have some of these already. You guys might remember a long time ago I did a video on these. The reason I bought this guy is because he was complete and loose. The sword and the mask and everything. It's hard to find these guys with the mask and the sword specifically, and my loose ones didn't have that. He didn't have a Billy Lee, unfortunately. First, he had 3 Jimmys complete for some reason, no Billies. But yeah, man, I thought that was a great find. I was really happy to get him and add him to my collection, especially since he has the mask and the sword there. I got myself a John Blackstar, and I've had Blackstars before, but the reason I picked this one up, because there was a couple different Blackstars, and this one here, he's really beat up, but he's got his little red cape, and that was the reason I bought him, it's because he had a little red cape, and none of mine have a little red cape, and then I brought him home, and I was actually playing with him. I was showing him to my buddy Brandon from Minor Monster Studios. Bognar Brandon, because we were hanging out, and when I was showing that to him, I tore the cape off the figure because it's just so old. But I don't know, you can see there's got little thread holes in the cape, so I'm gonna do my best to try to like repair it, and that way I'll have the little cape on one of my cleaner Blackstars, because this one's really dirty, and this little guy too. But I mean, $5 for both of them, not a big loss. I'll fix the cape. I'll find a way to fix the cape. These here are a line, I believe it was Trendmasters that put these out. It was a Tarzan line in the 90s. I don't know if you remember this, but these specific ones here are actually based on John Carter of Mars, and I thought they were fantastic. So I definitely wanted to pick these up. So we got the little Martian there. We got the Tarzan. I got 2 different Tarzans, which are basically just dressed like John Carter. So we got the John Carter Tarzan, and we got the Martian. Yeah, really cool finds, and again, very reasonably priced. I think all 3 of them were in one bag for $5. So great deal right there. This guy is fantastic. I mean, look at him. How great is that? Really cool. I love it. All right, so now to some more of the G.I. Joe type stuff that I picked up. I'm obviously a big fan of the Street Fighter and the Mortal Kombat G.I. Joe lines that came out. Again, another thing I've done a video on a long time ago, way back when I first started doing toy videos. And I have several of them, but I knew going into this show that that was one of the primary things I was going to look for, is some of the Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat Joe stuff that I didn't already have. And it was everywhere. There was lots of it there, which was really cool. I'm really kind of sad that I missed out on it, because I might have sprung for it if I saw it. But one of the booths said they had 2 of the big Mortal Kombat like sailboats, which is awesome. I've actually always really wanted that one, but they sold both of them that first day, so I actually didn't see those. But I did see the same booth had like a smaller, the smaller little boat that came with the reptile figure that was still in the box, and I saw several of like the Street Fighter play sets and everything, so that was really cool. I love seeing stuff like that because I don't feel like I see that sort of stuff very often at toy shows and conventions and stuff that I go to. But I did find a few of the figures that I didn't already have or that I wanted, or at least that I got better versions of, like this guy here. I got the E Honda figure, and I was really happy because he actually has his little his towel piece on. I think the Honda that I have doesn't have that, and it's hard to find him with that. He had this weird action feature where he kicks, and so he's always kind of like broken like this, where like his leg doesn't lock in place. But otherwise, he's sweet. I'm really happy that he's got the towel piece there. That's something that I really wanted to have with this Honda figure. So there we go. Ah, there we go. Got him all focused for you. So, yes, sweet. 100-hand slap. Isn't that funny that they gave him a leg action feature? Actually, I think it might have been, maybe it was a headbutt. I think that's actually what it was. Like, I think it was supposed to be like his headbutt, like the flying. But you think you'd have like an arm action feature. I digress. How about the Street Fighter movie figures, huh? You remember those? You know, the funny thing about a lot of the Street Fighter movie figures is, with the exception of Guile, who they gave the short hair to and kind of tried to make him look more Jean-Claude Van Damme-esque, all of the other figures in the Street Fighter line actually looked a lot more like their video game counterparts than the initial Street Fighter line. And Blanka here is a good example of that. I've been wanting this particular version of Blanka for a long time. I had never had him before, so I was really happy to pick him up loose. And he even came with this crazy little chamber and his little... He came with this weird weapon. It's from an actual other G.I. Joe figure whose name I can't remember right now. But, you know, that for whatever reason they decided that this was a Blanka weapon, so they gave it to him. And this chamber is kind of funny. Like, if you remember, he was, like, locked up in, like, that chamber in the movie. Or whatever, so I assume that's why they came with it, but it's just this really flimsy plastic green chamber, and you can actually lock Blanka in there, but the thing that's really funny about it is it's not quite wide enough for the figure, so as you can see, it doesn't really close all the way, and it doesn't stay shut very good, so yay, there's that. But the figure itself is quite a bit different from the regular Blanka. Like, the head sculpt is the same, but the body's different. It actually has the little tuft of hair on his chest there, which was, you know, known for Blanka. Same with the forearms there, and the shins, and he even has the little chains on his ankles. And they posed this one. You can see he doesn't have knee articulation. His legs are just bent like that to kind of give him that crouch over pose, crouching pose. So he's actually a lot different from the more G.I. Joe-esque version of Blanka that came out in the first series of Blanka. So, kind of neat. Kind of neat. The movie Blanka is more video game accurate than the other one is. The same could be said for, like, the Chun-Li figure and stuff from the movie line. But that's awesome. I didn't have that one. How about some Mortal Kombat goodies? Speaking of movie lines, here's some others I didn't have. This is the movie version of Scorpion from the Mortal Kombat line, and the only thing that makes him the movie version is the fact that he's got a cloth yellow gi on, which is kind of funny. See how that works? So, like, underneath the figure is, like, just pretty much all solid black, except he's got, like, a yellow torso, and then they just put this cloth gi on him. So, he's not complete. He doesn't have any of his accessories. I think the actual carded figure came with an actual scorpion, like a creature with him, too. But still a cool figure, not one that I had. And even better than that, I also got the movie version of Sub-Zero. And like his brother Scorpion there, they also gave him a cloth gi. But you know what's so great about the Sub-Zero? Look, translucent blue plastic. The figure is made in translucent blue plastic, which makes him extra cool in my book. This is one that I did not have for certain and have always wanted. So I was really happy to not only find him, but find him with all his weapons, too. He's got, like, translucent blue swords and claws and a little dagger. And he's amazing. He's one of my favorites that I picked up. He's definitely, like, I love how, like, these are the movie versions. They don't really actually look like the movie versions, but there you go. Amazing figure regardless. I love him. And then we'll get into the carded territory. Check this out. I like the carded Street Fighter figures a lot because I love the artwork and stuff on them. So I picked up a carded Blanka, which is on a beautiful card back. I mean, look how pretty and straight that is. Looks awesome. Love that artwork. Look at that artwork there. Isn't that sweet? Amazing deal. 12 bucks. I thought $12 was a really good price for this because usually when I find these at places like toy shows and stuff, they're always like 30 or 40 bucks. And I've never wanted to pay that much for a carded Street Fighter G.I. Joe. So 12 bucks, I felt like it was a pretty solid deal. They had lots of these too, but I went ahead and just picked up one. I picked up Blanca because he was always a favorite of mine when I bought these as a kid. So it was very cool to actually get a carded version of the character. There's the back for you. Some pictures of the vehicles and stuff. You got Blanca's little bio card down there. But hey, see what I was talking about though with the accurate stuff? Look at, you see this one here? He's wearing like pants with armor on it and these big old red boots and he doesn't have the hair on his chest and arms. So the movie version of Blanca is far more game accurate than the actual video game Blanca is, but pretty cool. Also in the carded figure category, on the Mortal Kombat front, one of the figures I knew for certain I wanted to get while I was there was Goro, because I didn't have Goro in my lineup, and I ended up buying a carded version. Found several loose Goros, but then I found this carded 2-pack with Johnny Cage, and it didn't cost much more than most of the loose ones that were priced at the show. So I decided to spend a little bit of extra and get the 2-pack here. This is really cool because they came with like this little stand in the back there for them to like fight on and then all the weapons and stuff. But there you go, Johnny Cage and Goro on card. And then when you flip it around to the back, you know, like some of the artwork and stuff they use for those is very cool as well. But yeah, really happy to pick that set up. Really happy to pick Blanca up. Okay. So those are all the toys that I bought. But this is now going to bring us to my absolute favorite purchase of JoeCon. And the thing that's so funny about this is the least G.I. Joe related thing I bought at JoeCon. But I consider this such an epic find for somebody like me. It's not something I expected to walk into JoeCon and find. And this isn't the kind of thing that you see very often, if at all. I found 3 Toy Fair catalogs from Mattel. Years 1982, 1985, and 1990. These are the actual catalogs that they handed out at Toy Fair to retailers and potential buyers to sell their product for the year. The reason these catalogs are so great is because they are just filled with all these images of their Barbies and their dolls and their Hot Wheels and any of their other toy lines that they were trying to push for that particular year. And since they're Mattel catalogs, and you know me, there's a specific reason why these were so special to me. Look at the spread right here in the 1982 catalog. That, my friends, is your original Masters of the Universe lineup. Look at that in all of its glory. And just looking at some of the pictures on here, you can tell that these are early prototypes of these figures. I mean, if you can get, I don't know if you can see it, but get a good look at that Tila down there with the blondish hair and the different paintwork. Wow. So that's the 82 year. You can see kind of setting up Masters of the Universe there. And you know, obviously Masters is my favorite thing in these, but there's a lot of great stuff. Look at those. Those old Hot Wheel sets and everything are in there. And it's kind of amazing because the actual little checklist with all the prices on it for retailers to do their ordering is still in the book. So there's the 1982 book. The 1985 book is just as awesome because we also have, for example, She-Ra. We got our She-Ra stuff in here, Princess of Power. Some amazing pictures. We got the full spread of all the figures that were going to be available that year. There's our horses. Some amazing stuff. Again, look at these awesome prototypes there. Look at that She-Ra, how glossy and shiny all the gold is on her mask and everything. And then you get back here a little bit further for more Master stuff. God, there's so much of it in here. Look at this epic picture. Thunder Punch, Dragon Blast Skeletor, Spydor. Look at the land sharks in there. There's a full little lineup of a bunch of figures that were coming out. And this is where things get even cooler. I mean, there's it's amazing to see how much it grew too, because that first 82 catalog had 2 pages with matches on it. This one has like 10. I mean, Battle Bones and everything, but look at this. New for 85, the Evil Horde. Oh, we got the Horde, we got the Fright Zone, and again, look at these prototypes. Look at Modulak and Mantenna down there, and the paint jobs and everything on them. You can tell that they're hand-painted prototypes and everything. We got a great little setup there, Castle Grayskull on Snake Mountain, and that's actually what ends the catalog. So very cool. But there's other amazing things in this one too. 85 is a good one here. For example, this book also has Secret Wars in it. Marvel Secret Wars. Look at that. We got all the figures lined up there. We got the vehicles. You got the Secret Wars vehicles. Look at, oh man, this is just, it's amazing. There you go. And the other thing that I saw in 85 that really geeked me out personally, let me see if I can find it again. Oh wait, hey, check it out. Masters of the Universe Adventure books! Yay! That's in there too. Let's see. Oh yeah, the Wheeled Warriors are in here. Look at that. Wheeled Warriors are in there. And where's my favorite? One of my other favorite sections. I saw it earlier. A lot of Playmobil stuff in these books too, which is separate from Mattel now. Not part of Mattel. Playmobil always has their own booth, even at Toy Fair these days. So, oh, check that out! Hot Wheels Snake Mountain Challenge. Nice. I'm gonna have to track one of those down. Let me see. So we got Secret Wars is in here. Maybe it was... Oh, you know what? I'm thinking of the next book. So yeah, 85's got a bunch of good stuff in it. What I was thinking of is in the 1990 book. Let me find it real quick. There it is! Another favorite, really, really wacky line. Computer Warriors! Look! The 1990 book tells you all about Computer Warriors. This is the year of Computer Warriors. All the play sets are in here. All the minifigs are in here. Wow, just some amazing, amazing things. Look at this. There's the computer play set. Oh, I love the computer play set. Just seeing all that stuff is amazing. And then, of course, 1990, The New Adventures of He-Man. Look at that. Actually, I really like this picture, by the way. That He-Man and Skeletor picture there. And then, see, look at that. They're selling all the heroes. And when you flip to the next page, all the villains. There's some amazing things in here. Look at that. The vehicles, all that good stuff there. So these catalogs are just fantastic. I mean, oh my gosh, they are... This is the kind of thing that I love. I love, you know, I've always talked about before, I love the history behind toys and all that stuff. Oh, here's a good. Rainbow Bright. Look at all the Rainbow Bright stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I was a big Rainbow Bright fan as a kid. I love the Rainbow Bright stuff. So that's all in here too. Yeah, you know, I'm a big fan of the history behind toys and toy lines and everything. And stuff like this is like a major find for me. I love this. So never knew I was gonna go to JoeCon and find some Mattel catalogs filled with He-Man goodness and all kinds of other cool Mattel toy line goodness. But those are by far my favorite pickups from the show. So there you go, my friends. There is my stuff from JoeCon. I had a really great time, like I said. Again, special thanks to every single person who came up and chatted with me this weekend. It was awesome talking to everybody. Had a great time hanging out. Good show. Really fun. Next show that I'm going to be attending will be C2E2, which is only 2 weeks away up in Chicago, and I'll also be doing the Kane County Toy Show again, so I'll probably do another update before then to remind you guys, and then there will definitely be another haul video directly after that. So until next time, my friends, take care.